I love the lake house, but I'm also incredibly frustrated by the lake house. I'm not going to give any specific spoilers here at all, but I will discuss how I feel about the ending. I won't say what happens, but if you just don't want to know whether or not it's a good ending, bad ending, whatever, definitely watch the film first. I think it's definitely worth watching, but just be warned that the narrative's all over the place, which should have worked. And I will discuss that with potential spoilers for the development of it, but not the actual intricacies of the plot from now. I love Sandra Bullock, and that's definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to watch this, but I just heard a lot of really good things about it. It was released in 2006, directed by Alejandro Agresti. I apologise if I've mispronounced that. And stars Bullock and Keanu Reeves. And the reason I was drawn to this, in addition to Sandra Bullock, is that we have some peculiar kind of time travel going on here. So I'll read the description from IMDb and then try and talk around it without spoiling anything. So this description says, a lonely doctor who once occupied an unusual lakeside house begins exchanging love letters with its former resident, a frustrated architect. They must try to unravel the mystery behind their extraordinary romance before it's too late. So basically, we have two characters, Alex, Keanu Reeves, and Kate, Sandra Bullock. And Alex writes a letter and puts it in a little postbox. And then that somehow appears in the past for Kate. And then Kate will write a reply, put it in the little letterbox thing, and then that letter will appear in the future for Alex. And they're kind of having this exceptionally long distance or long time distance relationship. And it's not, the main thing is trying to work out how this is possible, what's happening, and will they ever meet? And if they did meet, and if they did find a way, how would that work? What would even happen? And it's such a fascinating concept. And, written down on paper, it sounds brilliant. And I love the idea behind it. And I kind of think if this had been done slightly differently, it could have been amazing. But I think one of the main reasons why it does work for the most part is that there is a lot of mystery. It's never obvious, and that's brilliant because there are a lot of films that kind of deal with this similar kind of thing where you kind of figure it out relatively quickly, and that gets a little bit annoying. But this one, I didn't figure anything out, but I have to say, and this is where the spoiler comes in, I don't think the ending really gave us a satisfactory conclusion. I think it still left too many answers, too many questions unanswered. And to put it into perspective, if you Google Lake House ending, which I always do with a film that I watch and never understand the ending, one of the suggested questions is, does the lake house make sense? And one of the answers is, it makes absolutely no sense, which, is pretty true. The ending just doesn't tie everything together, and that's really frustrating because I feel like the journey was amazing. It didn't give anything away. I thought, once it does reveal what's happening, or once we get a more concrete answer, everything will come together and it'll be brilliant. But actually what happens is, it doesn't make any sense, and then we get to the ending and it still doesn't make any sense. And it's like, well, what was the point in that? There's no closure. And I won't say how it ends, because I think the ending itself is all right, but it just doesn't answer anything. So it could have been a lot better, a lot better. It is actually based on a different film called, let's try and see if I can pronounce this South Korean word, Il Mare, I don't know, but it means the sea in Italian, apparently. And that was released in 2000. I haven't seen that, but I think I will see if I can find it. I'm not sure how easy it would be to find with English subtitles, but I'd be keen to see a different version of it. The Lake House had the potential to be amazing. The core principles are great. Visually it's stunning. The lighting is great. The directing's fine. Camera angle's fine. The acting's really good. The emotions are realistic and believable. It's just the narrative. The narrative was fine when you think that the confusion will all come together and you'll get answers, and on reflection everything will feel really satisfying. But that never comes. But what I'd like to happen is I'd like them to make a sequel. And that's a weird thing to think about for a film that didn't end on a positive. I just feel like it didn't end. I feel like we didn't get an ending. It left us hanging. And if they made a sequel, they'd have a chance to, improve that and actually give us what we all want. So maybe one day they will. I highly, highly doubt it. But I'd say it's worth a watch because it's interesting, and maybe you like to come up with your own theories. For me, I might watch it again at some point to see if I can decipher clues throughout it towards the ending, but it's really good. It's a really enjoyable film. It ruins itself at the final hour. Not the best, but it has its moments. I'd say it's worth a watch. Just be warned that you might not be satisfied once it's actually over. The Lake House, not the best, not the worst. Problematic, but oddly still enjoyable.